Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And in this video, I wanted to do a quick hit on an article that I came across off of an app that I have downloaded on my phone called Newsbreak. Okay, the app is called Newsbreak, and on the app, I saw earlier today there was an article posted on the app from CNBC, which you can see on the screen. It's titled "Factory Shutdowns in Vietnam Could Have Longer Impact for Apparel and Footwear Retailers." All right, B of A warns. Okay, and I'm not quite sure what B of A stands for, but nonetheless, you see it. You see the title: Factory Shutdowns in Vietnam Could Have Longer Impact for Apparel and Footwear Retailers. Okay, your Foot Lockers and your sneaker houses and all of that, Champs, and Finish Line and whatnot. Okay, what's going on in Vietnam right now? Okay, with the lack of shoes and apparel and things like that are being slowed down over there. That means that when you go into these local shoe stores, within the next few months or so, you're gonna see less merchandise up in those stores. Okay, less shoes, less less clothes, less fitted caps and football and basketball jerseys and whatnot. All of that stuff. And you know who's the main group of people or demographic of people, particularly here in America, that's going to be upset when they're not going to be going to Foot Locker or Champs or Finish Line or whatever and not see their favorite pair of Jordans or their favorite pair of Nikes, Air Maxes and things like that. Okay, Adidas and whatnot. Who's the main demographic of people that's going to be pissed off when they're not going to see those items in their local shoe stores? No more pretty soon. Jake, our people, because for the longest in this country, going back, since way back in the day, back in the 80s, early 90s and whatnot, the main people that's coveted, shoes and sneakers and Jordans and whatnot is mostly Jake. When you go back to like during the 80s and the early 90s, the so-called crack era, a lot of Jakes, they were selling crack and selling dope back then, to make a lot of money and things like that. They were making all that money for what? To buy material items, to buy material things, cars, clothes, shoes, and ultimately all to impress these women, to impress women, because women, are attracted to men that have all those things at their possession. But now soon, all right, there's getting ready to be a slowdown of all of those material things, and ultimately, all right, ultimately you won't see those things anymore in these stores. All right, so the title of this article is "Factory Shutdowns in Vietnam Could Have Longer Impact for Apparel and Footwear Retailers," BFA warns. All right, then down at the key points it says that the impact of prolonged factory shutdowns in Vietnam is likely going to be worse than retailers have planned for, according to analysis at BFA Securities. BFA cited a number of reasons for its predictions, including the fact that the reopening of the economy in southern Vietnam, where many apparel and footwear producers are housed, have been moving much slower than in the north. Yeah, because right now over there, because of those lockdowns and whatnot over this whole COVID pandemic, outbreak. Okay, the grinding is ceasing more and more in Vietnam. All right, let's get that in the scriptures real quick. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few. Okay, because they are few, due to terminations, layoffs, people walking off the job and whatnot, or lockdowns. Okay, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. All right, verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, so like it says in verse 4, the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Meaning what? Because because the grinding is going to be low. Meaning what? Because there's going to be very few people working these jobs. Okay, and there's going to be a lack of staff, lack of personnel, lack of people, at these jobs. Therefore, what? Businesses are going to be forced to close down and shut down, because they're not because they're not getting the amount of help that they want or need. Okay, which therefore means a lot of people are going to stop shopping at those businesses, all right, and keeping those businesses running, and putting money in their pockets. Okay, and eventually it's going to lead to massive shutdowns of these stores and these businesses. Okay, and especially in this case, okay, all right, pursuant to this lesson, the subject of this lesson are these shoe stores and apparel stores. Because a lot of these countries, especially these so-called Asian countries that make the clothes and the shoes that you see for sale at these stores, now that they're going through these different lockdowns and these different phases to deal with this so-called COVID, almost said it, COVID pandemic. Okay, they're forced to slow down the production of their work, and the grinding is ceasing. All right, and ultimately, through that is going to affect the economy here, in the United States, as well as the so-called westernized countries, because the United States depends heavily on these so-called Asian countries, as well as many other countries around the world that makes a lot of the products and the merchandise that we have are here in America, Babylon. All right, it says the impact of prolonged factory shutdowns in Vietnam is likely going to be worse than many apparel and footwear retailers have. It's going to be let me read that again. The impact of prolonged factory shutdowns in Vietnam is likely going to be worse than many apparel and footwear retailers have planned for, lasting well into 2022, according to analysis at BFA Securities. Yeah, because so far it's looking like if 2022 is not going to be the year that Yahushua comes back to deliver us, or which we're hoping that it is. Okay, but if by any chance, if we're not out of here by in the year 2022, by the end of the year 2022, then for the most part, what we definitely can see, okay, and by we, I'm talking about those of us that are in the know, those of us that are of the hopeful elect, the hopeful tabernacle of David. Okay, we can definitely see that a lot of stuff is going to pop off, and a lot of stuff is going to be shut down, all right, at some point in the year 2022. More than likely at the beginning of the year, but that, of course, that remains to be seen. Okay, 2022 definitely looks like this country and this whole society is going to be through. Okay, it says the Wall Street research firm said in a note to clients over the weekend that the recovery in Vietnam will be more gradual than retailers are anticipating, and that businesses are being too optimistic about turnaround times. It says, I'll jump down to here. All right, it says Vietnam experienced a devastating surge in CVID cases this past July through August, prompting another round of local lockdowns. The temporary pause to production dealt a blow to companies such as Adidas and Nike. Yeah, and Adidas and Nike are two of the biggest shoe retail companies, if you want to call it that, whatever you want to call it. But Adidas and Nike are two of the biggest, shoe companies in the world right now. So these lockdowns, all right, and this slowdown of production in Vietnam of shoes, okay, is dealing is affecting these two major shoe companies right here, Nike and Adidas. And ironically, Nike and Adidas are two of the biggest, shoe companies that Jake, especially here in America, covered to buy their shoes from, because because first of all right, among Nike, what is the biggest sub brand that's owned by Nike? Jordans, Air Jordans. Okay, Jake, over the years has literally killed each other, and done all types of wicked things, just to buy some damn Air Jordans, some overpriced, whack ass shoes. Okay, spending $200, $200+ Okay, all because they took the Jordan logo from off the back of the shoe and put a Nike Air logo on the back of it, and charge you over $200 for the shit. And Jake is just going around killing each other for him. Stealing for him. Selling drugs for him. Okay, to buy them. Just doing all manner of wickedness just to buy, over some damn sneakers. And then Adidas, when you go to Adidas, okay, who what rapper or music producer, makes shoes, with Adidas? All right, Kanye West. Kanye West with his Yeezys, okay, which originally, when Kanye West first came out with his Yeezys, all right, some years back, originally they were with Nike. He was making shoes with Nike, but eventually he had some type of fallout with Nike, so eventually he switched to making his shoes with Adidas. And selling his shoes, all right, his Yeezys for like $700, $750, damn near $1,000, and it's just ridiculous. And of course, who do you see are the main ones, spending that type of money, all right, $700, $900, $1,000, all right, and so on and so forth, to buy those damn Yeezys, including the slides. All right, Jake, because Jake is a very covetous people. Jake are some of the main consumers of people, here in America. Jake, literally puts his heart and soul into material things. Okay, which ultimately, when you covet after material things on a level that Jake in the world does, to the point to where he'll kill and steal and lie for them just to have them. Okay, that eventually becomes idolatry. Or it becomes you basically make that material, whether it be a shoe, money, car, or clothes, or or anything. Okay, you eventually make it unto an idol, and you start to worship it. Which worship doesn't always necessarily mean to bow down on your knees. Get down on your knees and bow to it. Okay, but it basically means something or someone that you highly praise or reverence. All right, something that you highly exalt. All right, and the scriptures speaks about idolatry being the beginning, all right, the beginning of sin. Let's get that real quick. All right, Wisdom of Solomon 14. All right, give me a second. All right, let's see. I think it's in verse. Yep, this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of life. Okay, so idol worship was the beginning of, all right, what the scriptures call spiritual fornication, because you have a carnal physical fornication, which is what, different types of sexual sin, such as adultery, all right, homosexuality, bestiality, incest, all right, having sex with a woman on her period, having anal sex. Okay, those are forms of carnal fornication. Okay, but you also have a spiritual fornication, which is what? All right, worshiping other gods. Committing spiritual adultery against Yahweh Shema Shai by doing what? Worshiping idols. And through worshiping idols, okay, it says what? And the invention of them, the corruption of life. So idol worship corrupts your life. Okay, because once you get into idolizing material things, okay, it corrupts your life to the point to where you become a slave to your carnal lust. You're willing to kill, murder, steal, or lie, cheat, your way to obtaining those corruptible things. All right, and ultimately it just leads to a life of sin. And we know what the wages of sin are. All right, Romans 6:23 is death. The wages of sin is death. All right, let's see. Let's jump down. Yep, verse 27. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 27. For the worshiping of idols not to be named is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. Yeah, because here it is, Esau, Edom. All right, when Esau knows what he's doing when he puts all of these these shoes, when he advertises all of these shoes and clothes and material things in front of our people, okay, because our people get they get googly eyed for it. Okay, they lust after it, and eventually, our people look to those things. Okay, they reverence those things as basically idols. Because idol worship was always the downfall of the chosen lineage. Going back to Eve in the garden, and then ultimately Adam. Or when Adam decided to follow after his wife Eve, who followed after the ways of the serpent. Okay, and then eventually the sons of God. When you read Genesis, the 6th chapter, one of the main things that made the sons of God go off was the worshiping of idols. Through messing with the women, the daughters of men, the women of the other nations of that particular time. All right, and then King Solomon. When King Solomon got mixed up with those concubines, those women of the other nations, what did he do? He started worshiping their gods and creating altars and temples dedicated toward their gods, which then caused the nation of Israel to split into two kingdoms as we know of today. All right, and then even to this very day, Jacob still caught up in all of this idol worship. That's why it tells you now, 1 Corinthians 12:2. All right, we were carried away by those dumb idols, which then ultimately made us likened unto Gentiles. All right, but nonetheless, idol worship was always, was always a thorn, okay, a kryptonite to our people, going back since the beginning, since Genesis, back in the garden, okay. And so these Edomites and these heathen nations, when they put all these material things in front of our people, they know that those things can cause our people to easily go off, because Jake loves to put his heart into treasures on earth, and Yahushua spoke against that in the scriptures. All right, this is Matthew chapter 6. Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. This Yahushua speaking. He says, "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal." Yeah, because when you are coveting after your favorite Jordans and your favorite Adidas, your favorite Nikes and whatnot so much. Okay, if somebody comes through and steals all those things from you, then it's basically like they're stealing your heart and your soul away from you, because you put all of your mind into having those things, okay, in order to have some type of fulfillment in your life. But it says, verse 20, "But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal." Yeah, and what is those treasures in heaven? Okay, the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, those are treasures, all right, that can never be stolen from you. Okay, nobody can steal something that's spiritual. Something that was put in your mind via the Holy Spirit. Okay, those are the treasures that our people should be laying up for themselves in their heart. But our people don't want the spiritual treasure. They don't want the wisdom and knowledge of Yahweh Shem Shai. They only want the wisdom and knowledge of the serpent. Okay, that this serpent has presented to them in order to appease their flesh and to appease their lust for idol worship. Which has always led to our corruption. All right, verse 21. "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Yeah, so our people, okay, their heart is in their treasures on earth. Okay, and that's why when shit hits the fan, so to speak, when all hell breaks loose, okay, Jake is gonna be running around stealing, killing, and stealing from each other. Coveting after those favorite Jordans that they couldn't get, that they wanted so bad, but now they see the next man have it, so they're gonna do whatever they can to take it from the next man. Okay. So yeah, man. There's getting ready to be a shortage of food, a shortage of water, a shortage of natural organic medicines. Hell, there's even getting ready to be a shortage of clothes, because the price of cotton has going up, because cotton production, clothes manufacturing is slowing down due to a lack of workforce, and farmers not being able to have supplies to do their farm work, which is all done by design, of course. So even so there's even getting ready to be a shortage of clothes. There's getting ready to be a shortage of of every thing on this earth. Okay, shortage of everything, but wickedness as well as faith. Because faith, just as well as just as much as wickedness is getting ready to flourish on the planet Earth, but that faith is going to come from the elect, the tabernacle of David, all right, of Yahweh Shem Shai. Okay, so yeah, and now as we can see from this article, there's even getting ready to be a shortage of J's, a shortage of Jordans and Nikes and Adidas and other footwear and apparel that our people like, that Jake likes. Okay, so hopefully this video is edifying. Until next time, Lord willing, Shalom.